Welcome to the next installment of the Wellness Wednesdays. We are here in one of the little forests here on Val de Vie, and very tranquil. It's like a whole different environment, in here, and it's just a great place to sometimes come hang out here. And John, we've spoken about the evolution of wellness. I think for a lot of people, wellness has always just been exercise or maybe just going to the spa, but there's been an evolution about in the whole wellness industry.
Absolutely. They're all critical, aren't they? You don't have to persuade you or I to go into a gym. In fact, more often than not, you've got to try and drag us out of it. And we all have our favorite aspect and the thing that we really like doing. Some people actually like being in nature but don't do enough gymming, maybe don't do enough mindfulness or meditation practice.
Get that balance
and
right.
And they're all, the reason they are pillars is because they're all part of the essential makeup and the core of what keeps you right together. But where we are right now is just incredible to be here in tranquility and peace, listening to just the wind blowing through the trees here and the birds in the background. And this has been part of the major evolution more recently, and particularly there's a lot of studies coming from Japan on forest bathing, spending time in nature. And what's interesting about it is that not so much time is required. They say the sweet spot is about 2 hours a week in wild nature. And after less than 2 hours a week doesn't really give it to you. And anything more than 2 hours, the law of diminishing returns sets in quite strong. So that's not to say you can't stay long, but it's up to you. That's the sweet spot. 2 hours a week in nature. In fact, doctors are already prescribing that now in Japan, that you spend time in nature. If you're not feeling well, that's what they prescribe. And
so the term is called forest bathing, but you don't always have to be inside a forest or like we are today. You can just be in nature. I think the key is also to turn your phone off and to completely be in the moment, right?
Totally. And I think not surrounded by too many people either. And there's got to be time for some reflection on it, in it as well. So I think this is the critical thing, to be in nature, to be in the wilds, so as to speak.
Walk next to the river, go for a hike, something like that. So, no, thanks, John. It's something that for me, I like to always be active and almost on the aggressive side. So this doesn't always, I feel like I'm cheating a little bit when in my workout regime, but I know that it's also a very important part, and I encourage everybody to make use of it. Yeah,
particularly going forward, right? Now is when we need this. You need all these pillars more than ever. This is our new reality, that we've actually got to, in the same context as what we talk about gymming, there's certain programming you need to do that. There's certain programs now in our life. We need to be in nature, we need to be in gym, we need to be mindful, etc.
And I think it's also a global trend. I think people that live in cities are realizing that that they need this, and we see a trend also just on the property sales from people moving out of the city, moving more to the countryside. So it's it's quite interesting with that. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe, and every Wednesday we'll come to you with the Wellness Wednesdays.